Absolutely. All right, let's go. Welcome, scholars. Welcome back to our virtual Hospitality and Travel Youth Boot Camp, the Spring 2026 edition. I just want to go ahead and remind everyone. I just want to say thank you, first of all, to all of our scholars who have been meeting our expectations. Cameras have been on. You guys have been participating. The engagement's been great and definitely seeing that growth. So I first want to acknowledge all of our scholars who are doing that. And I also want to encourage those who have been a bit quiet. Right? I want you to go ahead, step outside your comfort zone, and let tonight be the night that you participate. Go ahead and initiate that conversation or about the topics that you'll hear about tonight. Don't forget you can drop your questions and comments in the chat. But we definitely want you to show up and be engaged, right? We want you to have the best experience tonight, and that definitely depends on the energy and everything that you bring. So definitely just want to remind everyone about those cameras being on and go ahead and respond, right? Tonight we have another special treat, right? The last time we were together, your instructor was our very own founder and CEO. And tonight, your instructor will be our chef Dre, who you guys have seen over the past several weeks, the co-director of our hospitality and travel series. So you get to hear from Chef Dre tonight, and that's absolutely going to be a treat. So let's go ahead and make sure that it's not quiet tonight, that we're participating, we're doing everything that we can do to make the best out of each and every session. And with that being said, I will turn it over to Chef Dre. Have a great session tonight, guys.
Yep, yep, yep. Scholars, what is going on? I hope everything has been absolutely fantastic for my people on spring break, great days of school. We'll have a lot of fun. So today is going to be a very interactive class. And guess what? You get to have me back to back because I'll be teaching this class and I'll also be teaching the Tuesday culinary basics class. So speaking of the culinary basics, did everybody go in Google Classroom and look at the list of ingredients that you need for Tuesday? Right? Yes. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Make sure you go tonight and look at that so you can have those prepared for Tuesday because you will need them for class. Okay. If you have any camera issues, make sure you get those camera issues fixed because we need to see you actually preparing your food. Right. Hopefully, you'll have a special guest in the house that can taste it. I can only do, imagine what it's going to taste like, right? But hopefully you'll have somebody at home with you to taste your creation and give their critique. Okay. So make sure you check that out. But tonight, I see your hands up. Roxy,
Where can we find the list for the ingredients that we need?
it's in Google Classroom under culinary basics. So
Thank
when you
you.
click on the culinary basics and you should see it in actually, it's right there on the page. It's not even a separate document. You'll see it right there on the page. And it's the same thing for the baking class. The items that you'll need to be for the baking class because you'll be making chocolate chip cookies. So make sure and that class is on the Thursday afterwards. Okay. So make sure you guys go check that out. It's important. Reserve the kitchen. Let your parents know I need the kitchen for about, I don't know, an hour or two. Okay. I'm not gonna make you dinner, but I'm gonna make you something great. Okay? Everybody good with that? Give me a thumbs up. Got a few thumbs up. Don't leave it up too long because I love that about Zoom. Everybody knows that about Zoom. Like you put the thumbs up, it'll read the camera and then put an automatic thumbs up. It's awesome. It is awesome. All right, so let's hop into class. I'm gonna go ahead and share my
I think
screen.
there's one more hand that's up. Is Summer, is that you? Do you have a question?
Yeah, I just checked the classroom, but I don't see it.
Did you see it under culinary basics?
I don't think I'm in that class. I'm only in the virtual hospitality travel and tourism class.
Okay, we'll check it at the end of the thing because each class has a separate tab that you need to click on.
Mhm.
And so when you click on culinary basics, which is the next class, you'll be able to see the ingredients list.
Oh,
And so we'll double check before we leave here at the end of today. Okay, cool? Excellent. All right. Can everybody see my screen? Excellent. Now what I can't see is the share of my screen, which is super weird. It's going to be one of those kind of days.
Right. I
All
couldn't
right.
hear you. What can you see?
Can everybody see my screen?
We can still see. It says
Excellent.
restaurant operations.
Excellent. So today we're going to get into restaurant operations and careers. This is something that I have been a part of when it comes to the hospitality industry for over 30 plus years at this point. I've worked in fine dining restaurants. I've worked in quick service. I've worked in mid-level restaurants, resorts, all many different places. And we're going to go on a journey to talk about that today. And so a little bit about me. I'm gonna share this now. I usually share it in the culinary basics class, but I'm gonna go ahead and share it now so that we can actually hop into some other stuff in the culinary basics class. So about your instructor, Chef Andre Blassingame, 30 years of experience in the business industry, hospitality, restaurant industry. I'm an international chef. I'm a coach, a speaker, and an entrepreneur. I own Heavenly Catering, private catering and chef services, HC International Consulting, where I do certified kingdom coaching for entrepreneurs, business owners, CEOs, and C-level execs. One of my first big roles as a chef, I was a cook three at Walt Disney World at the Grand Floridian Resort in Orlando. And only thing I can, and not the only thing, one great thing that I can say about that, working at Disney in the kitchen gave me the ability to overcome just about any obstacle in the kitchen. Okay. We used to do about 5,000 covers a day. So if you know what 5,000 covers means, it means 5,000 people would come through the restaurant in a day. And the way Disney is set up, um, Disney is set up where there are four kitchens or four restaurants that run out of one kitchen, but the kitchen is probably the size of two or three restaurants, right? So we had a fast food, we had a chef's table, we had a buffet, and then we had a formal sit down. So you can only if anybody's ever worked in the fast food industry or been able to go to a restaurant and see a kitchen in the back or um, see your school's cafeteria. Imagine that times 10 with about 50 to 100 employees feeding everybody that came through there. Our shift would start at 4:45 in the morning and went in until 2:45 in the afternoon. That was our shift. The shift was so busy when we came in the morning because I worked the late breakfast lunch shift. We didn't prep the food for our shift. The previous shift would prep the food for our shift, and we would prep the food for the next shift. So when I came in at 4:45, I used to have to make 25 to 30 gallons of French onion soup for the dinner service. That's what I had to do every day. And after a while, I got sick of French onion soup. Like to this day, I don't even do French onion soup, even though it's an incredible soup. It's like I've cooked it so much, I'm just numb to it, right? But it was a great opportunity because working at Disney, it gave me great outlets. I happened to be opportunity to be there when Obama came to visit with him and his daughters when he was president in there, and that was a lot of fun. I didn't get to meet him directly, but I did to get cook food for the people that were there involved and staff and things of that nature. And I met some superstars like Shania Twain and Toby Keith and Hulk Hogan, Sting, Ric Flair, all the celebrities, come stay at the Grand Floridian. Some hip hop stars came through there, so it was a great experience many moons ago. I also been executive chef for Dr. Pepper and American Airlines. Yes, I do know all the ingredients to the Dr. Pepper. No, I cannot share it with you because I signed a silence clause that I cannot share it with you for proprietary reasons, but I do know them all. So if I ever get a chance, I'll make you a Dr. Pepper. I just can't tell you what's in it. All right. So I'm a two-time world food champion, a two-time Texas super chef, three-time Texas Pro Star champion. If you know anything about Pro Star, it's a national invitational where all the culinary schools compete against each other to go compete at nationals, where we compete against all 50 states. The best we've done on the 50 state level is we've taken first place twice. That was 2019 and 2021, and we've taken fourth place twice, 2023 and 2025 last year. Yeah. And so this weekend, the team is actually competing again, and hopefully we'll win state and go back to nationals in Baltimore, Maryland. I'm excited about that. So that's just a little bit of background on me. Of course, I'm the chief operating officer for S.O.A.R. Also, been here since the beginning with Rosie and building this up. And we just excited to have you guys here. So now we're going to go over the agenda for the day. So the agenda for the day, we're going to talk again more about restaurant operations, careers, entrepreneurship, and the type of businesses that you can own in the restaurant industry. And so, of course, you know who I am already. Welcome to the industry. We're going to talk about industry opportunities, professional expectations, and beginning your career in the food service space specifically. Now, it's not separate from hospitality, but I always like to tell people, it is its own beast. It is definitely separate. So if anybody on here wants to get into the restaurant industry, be prepared to have thick skin, right? Be prepared to have to talk and repeat yourself more than you prefer, but prepare to have a lot of fun, right? My industry is incredibly fun. It can be stressful. If anybody has seen any movies that have food in it, like the horror movie, that was I don't know why I can't think of the name of it right now. It started off, it's not a horror movie when it starts off, and then you get into it and you realize that it is. Movies like that, it is pretty similar in a lot of those respects. But then there are also some great places. All right. All right. So we're gonna get everybody involved today. Okay. So if you are on this call, you must answer this question. What is your favorite dine-in restaurant to eat at and why? Dine in, not drive through, that you actually go sit and have a meal. Because, in all honesty, I am one of those people that I'm not too fond of the drive through. I love going to sit down inside the restaurant. That's just me personally. Even fast food. Even when I go to Chick-fil-A, I don't even go to the drive through Chick-fil-A. I literally get out and go sit in the environment. Just me personally. Plus, I don't like cold food and I don't really like reheating food, so I don't want to take it home. But all right, so let's see whose Zoom hand came up first. Let's see. Zoom user. Is that Isaac as the Zoom user? Or is that Summer?
I
I
think it's
think it's
summer.
me.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. Summer, go right ahead. I see that you have chimed in first.
Okay, so I like Applebee's. It's really, really nice.
Applebee's.
Yeah.
And
The the service and like the food, it just like brings like really good, like it's just really good. The
what
waiters, they're so nice to me every time I go. And they have really good deals too.
you know what they do? They've been having great deals for a long time.
Yeah.
Applebee's is one of my favorites because when I worked at Disney, there was an Applebee's that was across the campus, and every Thursday and Friday it had karaoke night,
Mhm.
right? So everybody in the kitchen that wasn't working dinner would go over there, and we would sing karaoke for like 4 hours. That is probably one of my fondest memories of Applebee's. So you just brought back a great memory mention that. I appreciate you. I actually forgot about that. Thank you. Evan, how about you, man? Favorite dining restaurant and why? You got to come off mute. Evan, I think I can see your eyes blinking if you're frozen. I'm just kidding.
Oh, hello. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. But my favorite restaurant would probably be like Chili's. Honestly, for like
That's
the
your
same
favorite.
reason that she said Applebee's, I said
Uh
Chili's.
huh.
Yeah, because I think like the food is good and like the triple dipper is good and the service is just like really good. and they also give you free refills. So like that's like an add-on.
Yep, yep. Hey, I got something for Chili's too. Chili's right now probably has one of the best restaurant deals out there. They got something called the 1099 for three or pick three for 11 or something like that. I don't know if it's everywhere, but I know it's where I am. And it's great because you get an appetizer, a drink, and a full entree with a side with it. And it's like $11. And the appetizer is a full size appetizer, like it could feed two or three people, and it's like, wow, that is like a great deal for the industry because you usually don't get it that inexpensive anymore. That's usually like a three for 19.99, three for 15.99 kind of thing. So yeah, Chili's has been on point with that, especially with their big mouth burger. Good job, Evan. Good job. Jaylene, favorite dining restaurant and why?
Um, it would be Chipotle because I love their food and I like their sitting area. It's very comfortable. And I could also get refills too.
Yeah, I like Chili's because they got I mean Chipotle because they usually have good music playing in the inside. A good variety of music. Good, good, good. Jason.
Um, I like Denny's. I don't know why. I think it's because they like my favorite drink is Dr. Pepper, and any other like
Uh-huh.
established.
Wait a minute. Did I lose sound or just him? Can y'all hear him?
No, it went out for me too.
Okay. I want to make sure I'm not crazy. I know you're off mute, but Jason, for some reason, your sound went away.
No, okay.
You are back. Go ahead.
Okay. I like Denny's only because it's Dr. Pepper, because it's kind of the only place where the Dr. Pepper isn't like watered down or it's too sour. It's kind of like right in the middle. And then I don't usually eat breakfast, but if I eat breakfast, it's usually during like when people have lunch or whatever. But I kind of
Yeah.
like how their menu kind of goes both ways, where if you have like a breakfast, but then your sides could be like lunch, so it kind of fills in both of what I usually don't eat.
Well, I ain't been to Denny's in a while. You might make me go revisit when I'm traveling. I ain't been to Denny's in a while. So good job. Good job, Jason. Let's see who else we got. Rima.
Okay, so I love a good local Middle Eastern cuisine. So there's this little place in my town called Baba Shawarma, and they serve like
Uh-huh.
the best shawarma I've ever tasted, and that's where I like to eat.
I love it. I love it. I am a shawarma fan, and Mediterranean food
Me
consumes
too.
about 65% of my dining experience. I love it. I have a place called Sababi, Mediterranean cuisine. Oh my word, cutting it right off the kefta, fire. But thank you, Rima. Caroline.
Um, I would probably also say Applebee's because it's simple, but there's
Hmm.
different options and they always come out with something new here and there.
Nice. Okay. Nabaya, I
I
did
like
pronounce that right, right? It is
no,
Nabaya.
it's Nabiha.
Nabiha.
Yeah.
You know what? It's just like it's spelled. Bless my life.
Well,
Nabiha, go ahead.
I like Urban Bird hot chicken because the staff is good. The food taste fresh. It doesn't taste like lab grown chicken or etc. Tastes like natural.
Nice. Okay. Okay. And what city are you in?
What city?
Yeah, are you in?
Houston.
Houston? Wait a minute. That's a restaurant in Houston?
Yeah. Yes.
I have not. Okay. See, my brother lives in Houston. You already messed up. I'm about to take me a nice 3 hour drive down and check out your chicken spot because I can get there quickly. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Stephanie.
Um, my favorite would probably also be Applebee's because their food's good and they have good service.
Wow, three Applebee's. Okay. That's new. Roxy?
Mine is a place, I'm pretty sure it's in Newark or in Elizabeth. It's called Don Julio, and like Peruvian food. It's a Peruvian and it's a Chinese restaurant. So Peruvian food it originates like from Asia. So it's a combination of like the best Asian foods and the best Peruvian foods, and it's just like amazing. Like it's so fresh and it's so authentic, and it's really difficult to find like authentic Peruvian food, but like that's the place
Mm-hmm.
like for both like they nailed down both cultures food, so it's always packed, it's amazing.
Amazing. I love Peruvian too. Peruvian's got a good variety of spices. Isaac,
I'm gonna have to say Jersey Mike's because
Jersey
I like
Mike's.
the, yeah, I like their subs.
Like
Yeah,
the
and
subs? Any particular sub you like?
steak with the
I knew it. I
I
knew it.
forgot what's it called.
I knew it. You like that Jersey Mike Philly type steak.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh man, it's that's my favorite when I go to Jersey Mike's too, bro. Real talk.
for sure.
Yeah. So you good. You good.
Yeah.
Jersey Mike's. Kimberly.
I like touchdown wings because their wings are usually fresh and tender, and also their Philly cheesesteaks.
Excellent. 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 Well, I was waiting on somebody to say chicken wings. I was like, this is not the chicken wing crew. This must be the chicken strip crew. Let's see. Stephanie Summer, Kimberly. I think that is everybody. Did I miss anybody? I don't think I missed anybody coming in here. Dr. Kennedy, how about you? What's your favorite place? Dine in.
Okay, now I enjoy the Cheesecake Factory.
The Cheesecake Factory and why?
That variety of the menu. I can get
Yes.
Italian, I can get American, I can get Asian themed, and of course the desserts. Gotta leave
Yeah,
room
I
for the
think
desserts.
the only thing with me and Cheesecake Factory is I think they need to rename their menu to novel, right? I mean, there's so many pages to flip through. I
For
mean,
real. I
their
don't know
variety
how
is
the kitchen does it, but yes, it's true.
that man, expansive, expansive. Let's see. Tiana, welcome.
Hello.
What's your favorite dine-in restaurant and why?
I'm gonna have to back up Miss Chastity and say Cheesecake Factory.
Cheesecake Factory. Y'all like
Yes.
looking at menus all day. I get it. I get
N-
it.
No,
Now I'm messing with you.
I go with the same thing. I just go to the lean. They have a lean menu, and I just go there and order.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up. I eat Cheesecake Factory, so I'm not even gonna be the one to hate. I ain't even gonna hate on cheesecake. Rosie. Okay, Rosie may not be able to come off mute. I know she always does 1,000 things.
Sorry, yes, I love the Cheesecake Factory as well. And the spaghetti factory, which nobody likes but me, but I love it.
Rosie, back in the day, used to go to that spaghetti warehouse in downtown Louisville. You remember?
That's what it was. It's the spaghetti factory though, not the spaghetti warehouse.
Well, whichever one was in downtown
I mean,
Louisville,
that's what it
it was
is.
fire back in the day. I don't know
It's
what it
still
is now.
fire. I used to work
Okay.
there, and it's still the spaghetti factory. Every time I go right there, and it's still good.
All
Old
right.
spaghetti factory.
Yep. Now you're gonna have to make me. I'm gonna have to go make a revisit.
Yes, we'll go together when we get down there.
Max, make it happen. Make it happen. So my favorite dine-in restaurant and why? Uh, I can't say. I can't say that I have one that just stands out. I have like 10, but I'm also a chef. So if there would be one that probably stands out the most, um, no, probably Perry's Steakhouse. Um, Perry's Steakhouse is a very, very popular steakhouse that has, well, they used to. I haven't been in a couple of years, but they used to have synchronized service. So in the hospitality industry, a synchronized service basically means that everybody's food comes out together and it's placed together. Sometimes you'll see it at weddings and you'll see it at very expensive events, but all the staff brings out everybody's food, so everybody eats at the same time. So when the appetizer comes out, you eat the appetizer, and they clear off all the appetizer, replace the silverware and everything before they sit down the next food, and everybody gets it all at the same time. So the synchronized service, for me, it just takes it up to another level because everybody has to be on top of their game. And we'll talk more about that in the culinary basics class, but everybody has to be on top of the game to feed a table of 4, 8, 12, 20 simultaneously. And you got to have enough staff to be able to do that, right? So that's a lot of fun. It's a good icebreaker. Good, 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 good. It's the first class had so many Applebee's. I will say that. But Applebee's was one of my fondest memories. So, all right, so let's hop into it. Welcome to the restaurant industry. What we're going to discuss today is that there are two primary segments that make up the restaurant and food service industry. We're also going to talk about the type of businesses that make up hospitality and tourism industry. You've heard it over and over again so that you'll have it. And I'm going to give you some new ones that you haven't heard. And then we're going to watch a short video about how restaurants actually came to be. Okay? So the food service and the restaurant industry are basically two components. Even though there's millions, well, not millions, there's hundreds of thousands of restaurants, around the world. Here in the U.S., it's made up of two things. One is the non-commercial, which is service food as support, which is your schools and universities, healthcare facilities, business and industry, clubs, and government. So your non-commercial, which are the ones that are not necessarily generating profit, like your school lunch, it's not really designed to generate profit. It's just designed to fulfill a need. Same thing with government contracts, healthcare facilities. It's not really designed for profitability. It's designed for sustainability, alleged, right? So that's what it is, serving food as support. And then the commercial side, which makes up 80%, which is serving food as a sole purpose, which is your revenue generating places like restaurants, catering, retail stores, stadiums, cruise ships, anywhere that they sell food. Commercial is big, big, big business. And we're going to look at a couple of websites in different states on how big the restaurant industry is relative to different states because it is massive. Okay. So, of course, you've heard this quite a few times. Different things from the travel and tourism industry, services that people use and receive while they are away from home, right? Food service, lodging, event management, things other, your Airbnbs, being on cruise ships, bed and breakfasts, things of that nature. Those are things that make up the travel and tourism industry. You just took Rosie's class. So, Rosie, I appreciate you for being excellent in giving that class because I don't have to necessarily go too deep into detail for that one. Now we're going to watch a video about the history of the restaurant. So be sure to take notes. I'm probably going to stop it maybe about 2 minutes in to make sure you're paying attention. Okay. So get your notes out, get your phones out. There might be some questions at the end of this video. Okay. Can everybody still see my screen? Hold on. Can everybody see my screen? Give me a thumbs up. Everybody sees YouTube in the left corner? Fantastic. Let's see if I got past the commercial.
So, I'm sure most everyone has eaten at a restaurant before. Of course,
Can everybody
the concept
hear that?
of buying prepared food isn't entirely new.
Yes.
The idea of selling food for profit existed even during the earliest of civilizations. It's really no coincidence that the growth of restaurants throughout history correlates closely with the growth of cities. The need for public eateries was firmly established as far back as the Roman Empire and even ancient China, when peasants and farmers brought their livestock and other goods to urban markets. Often they traveled for several days at a time and needed a place to eat and rest. This brought about the earliest form of restaurants, the roadside inn. Usually located in the middle of the countryside, inns served meals at a common table to travelers. There were no menus or even options from which to choose. Every night you got what you got, and that was it. Within city walls, where living conditions were cramped and many people did not have the means to cook their own meals, vendors sold food from small carts or street kitchens, which is still a popular form in many parts of the world. Think of the hot dog stand in New York City, like the one that Spider-Man likes to frequent. The meals they sold were usually pre-cooked and affordable, a forerunner to the modern fast food industry. These early inns and taverns were more than just a place to eat, however. They served an important social function by bringing people of different backgrounds together. Through the Middle Ages and into the Renaissance, taverns and inns continued to be a main place to buy a prepared meal in Europe. In Spain, these establishments were called bodegas, which served small savory Spanish dishes called tapas. In England, foods such as sausage and shepherd's pie were popular, while in France, stews and soups were almost always offered. All of these early restaurants had one thing in common, that they served simple foods commonly found in peasant and merchant homes. Following Columbus...
So, for everybody out here, what was the nickname of, or what was the, not nickname, what was the name of the places that sold tapas and small bites and foods of that nature?
Bodegas.
Bodegas! Excellent, okay. That means y'all paying attention. Thank you.
Columbus's voyage to the Americas in 1492, global trade increased, introducing new foods to Europe. Coffee, tea, and chocolate were soon being served in public houses alongside beer, ale, and wine. By the 17th century, while full meals were still typically eaten at home, upper and upper middle class folks would sometimes hire a caterer or take their meals to a private salon of a public house, rather than eat in the main dining room. In France, throughout the Middle Ages, guilds had monopolies on many aspects of prepared food. For example, charcutiers, a word that comes from char, meaning meat, and cuit, meaning cooked, were the guild who prepared cooked meats for sale. If you did not belong to that particular guild, it was illegal to sell cooked meat in any form. And so, relating to this, there is an oft-repeated historical anecdote crediting the first restaurant in Paris to a man named Boulanger, who in 1765 went up against the powerful medieval catering guilds. The story goes that Boulanger added cooked lamb to a stew he sold in his shop near the Louvre. The Caterers Guild sued him, but Boulanger won the case. Over the next 20 years leading up to the French Revolution, more shops like Boulanger's began operating in Paris. When Marie Antoinette and Louis XVI went to the guillotine, the old ways of French society went with them. The guilds were swept away, and many chefs employed in aristocratic and royal households found themselves unemployed. Many of these displaced workers opened up dining businesses in Paris, bringing with them a new way of dining. It has long been accepted that the first establishments that we would consider restaurants originated in Paris in the mid-18th century. The word restaurant is a French word that originally referred to a type of restorative meat broth or bouillon, created by steaming various types of meat. Such a broth was offered to those who might be too weak to eat a full meal. The institutions in which these restaurants were served had costly and luxurious interiors and appealed to a wealthy clientele. They were a pretty far cry from the unsavory taverns and inns that typically provided food to travelers. Concepts such as seating patrons at their own tables, providing dining at unspecified hours, and a menu from which diners could choose their own dishes came out of these institutions and became an established part of restaurant service. Though public houses continued to exist, the rise of fine dining in France would soon spread throughout Europe and into the New World. One should know that public gatherings over food and drink have long been a part of human society, as they offer a place for people to come together for a meal and to socialize with others. And this isn't the end of the restaurant story, though. Watch out for part 2 of this video coming soon, where we'll discuss the modernization of restaurants in Europe, Asia, and the United States. So guys, here's a question for you. What are some of your favorite memories from eating at a restaurant? Personally, I once went to a local diner that had a Halloween theme. The servers dressed up as vampires and other monsters. And as a kid, I was a bit scared but also super excited, and I had a lot of fun eating cookies with little monster faces on them. Well, I hope you guys.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. All right. Remember, give me one thing that you learned from the video.
Um, I I learned that in the beginning they were saying like not there was no menu and that like
Mhm.
every night like you got what you got like it was already like pre-made.
That is true. There was no menu. You just ate what was served. You know what was going to come in, cut it up, and they made it for you, and whatever it was that they made is what you were going to eat. There was not choices. Good, good, Roxy.
Something that I learned from the video was that the origin of the word restaurant means restorative meat broth, which is served to people who couldn't like digest other foods because they were too weak to.
Yep, that was the whole concept of restaurants. Even when you just take the first four letters of rest, it's evolved a lot, but it was a place, when travelers would come and they would sit and they would rest and they would replenish their weary, travels, right? That was the whole birth of it. Because before then, you had to know somebody, or you would stop at the inn or bed and breakfast and things like that, but it wasn't like a sit down restaurant. They would just have food for you, right? And so, of course, somebody figured out how to profit from it and turn it into a business. Good, 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 good. Isaac, give me one thing you learned from the video.
Hello.
Yeah,
Um, I learned that they had talked about stew and how it was made from like so basically so they had cut open the like potato and then um
you're almost
I don't
there. Come
really
on, keep going.
yeah and then they had and then they so basically they had made it from the like all like the vegetables and they was making like a stew.
That's what they did. They talked of the vegetables and make a stew. Very popular. Anybody else? Nobody else?
It became like a hangout spot after a while. Like some people would just go there to like chill or just eat seafood, and then eventually people would just be like they go there like meet new people, and then soon
Mm-hmm.
enough there was like a social class that came with it, where if you weren't like known or like known from the town, you would get like different servings.
That's what's up. Good. You guys are paying attention. Thank you so much. So guess what? I'm gonna give you guys a 15-minute break. You guys good with that? So it is now 7:13. We'll come back at 7:28, and we'll go to the second half of class today. It's going to be a little bit more interactive. We've got 10 more slides to go through. So we will take a break. I'm going to set this timer, and I'll see you guys back at 7:28. All right, everybody see my screen? Excellent. So now we're going to talk about some career opportunities that happen in the restaurant industry. So one thing that I've always loved about the restaurant industry for me is that it's one of the best places to get your first opportunity at working in the service industry, because there's only two things that are provided in the world, is either a service or a product, right? Either you have a physical product that you give somebody, or you have a service that you provide for somebody. And what the restaurant industry teaches, it teaches the opportunity to have both when you get in there for learning. Because most places, when you work in a restaurant, the service is what people return for. Like many of you said earlier when you were talking about the restaurants, like the food was good. It's like, but man, the service, the way they talk to me, the way they handle me, but then there's also the product. Just like when Jay made the comment about, I love going there because the Dr. Pepper is always right, going to Denny's, right? So when you combine those two, this is a great industry to start and learn how to really cultivate who you are, not only just as working, but also what you want to be as an entrepreneur and a business owner, right? So some of the career opportunities that's in the restaurant field are things like skills. Skills and training are required to be a front of the house manager or back of the house manager. Okay, that's what FOH and BOH stand for. Okay, so front of the house is anything that's in front of the kitchen that goes from being the hostess, being the host buster, assistant, the server, the bartender, the bar back, anybody that doesn't go, everybody that's on the opposite side of the sliding, flipping, swinging doors. And then the back of the house is everything that's behind those doors, from the chefs to the cooks to the bussers to the people that handle, I call them aquatic engineers, but they're really the dishwashers, right? But when you give them a cool name, sometimes they want to do a little bit more work, right? So I call them aquatic engineers, but it's really just a dishwasher. And so in these career opportunities, things like the front of the house and the back of the house work together for things like executing of the menu, right? And so one of the things that is critical when in the restaurant industry is food cost, right? And you have to know how to be able to balance your food costs and be able to set your budget and go forward. That's part of one of the careers as a front of the house or back of the house manager that deals with, executing the menu and being able to adjust the menu accordingly to not only what's in season, but to also what is profitable, right? You don't just open a restaurant and just say, "Hey, just throw up anything up on the menu." You actually put up what it is that you need and what's going to be profitable, because you get into business to make money. I always tell people, said, if you want to make money, you got to open a business. If you want to help people, you open a nonprofit. If you want to do both, right? Which is what S.O.A.R Hospitality has done. S.O.A.R, as a company, we also have a for-profit side that we deal with, which is why we teach business and entrepreneurship and the hospitality and travel side, because that is the foundation of what it is that we do in S.O.A.R. So you can have both entities, one that creates a profit, one that provides a service, right? So it's important. There's a lot of different career opportunities that you can go into in the restaurant industry, especially in the executive realm, when you get into the regional vice presidents and vice presidents, even CEOs of some companies. I used to work for a gentleman that owned 128 Popeyes in the Dallas, Fort Worth, Houston area. And it was a great experience, working with him, because even though he was a franchisee, he had so many stores. He had not the same, but he had a lot of leeway and power when we bring suggestions to him about some changes to be made, as Popeyes redevelop menu and do menu planning and development and take it to the next level. So just want to talk a little bit about that. So roles of entrepreneurs and chefs. So entrepreneurship starts and runs a business, takes on the financial risk to do so, and seeks out opportunities to offer guests options. Chefs often become entrepreneurs because a lot of times their creativity gets stifled when they're in certain restaurants, especially when it's owned by somebody else. But it isn't a bad thing because there's some chefs that do absolutely phenomenal in those places and continue to put out excellent quality dishes. But then there's some that have the creative side, and that's why a lot of us become entrepreneurs. One of the reasons why I opened my catering company was for that. I enjoyed working at Disney. I enjoyed Dr. Pepper, Aramark, True Luck, the Italian restaurant that I worked in down in Houston. It's no longer there. I don't know if I can't think of the name of it, but the creativity I stifled because the menu you're cooking the same thing over and over again every day, just about except with modifications from the staff. And for me, being a chef is creativity. I'm an artist when it comes to food, right? And so when I see it, it's almost like painting a picture and then be able to put my hands to it, mold it, shape it, craft it into something that is monumental, not only to the site, but also to the palate, right? And so we're dedicated to quality and taste and appearance of food, respects food and all its worth. Food is art, right? Food is an incredible dining experience. Of course, the surface of food, it is for nourishment, right? You eat so that your body can continue to grow and to move. You need the fuel. But the reason we have become so infatuated with food is because people like myself as a chef has put things together we're not supposed to, take the creativity to another level, and then offer you an experience that is so top notch and so above the board that when you see the food, you're just gaping and salivating at the chance to do it. And then when you start pairing things like, being a sommelier is a wine connoisseur. It's somebody that is an expert in their field when it comes to wine. This might be a question on the Mentimeter, maybe. Who knows? A sommelier is a wine connoisseur, an expert in wine. And what they do is they make sure that you pair the right wine with the right dish. And so, as a chef, we cook a lot with wine, right? And sommeliers often give us great recommendations on what type of dry red wine to use or fruity white wine to use to be able to create the different demi-glaces and glaces and the different sauces that we come up with for the different dishes, right? And so that's one of the great special careers. And you have to go through training almost like pretty much like being a doctor, in all honesty. Sommeliers go through like 3 to 4 to 5 levels, and we're talking 5 to 6, 7, 8 years worth of training to train the palate to be able to name off the grapes, where they come from, the region, the flavor profile, et cetera, et cetera. Roxy, you got a question?
What is sorry, why is it so common in cooking to find people use wine when it comes to their dishes? Like what does like I never tried a dish that has like wine in it. Like what makes it like pop out? What makes it authentic? Why is it like so critical to use if you want like an amazing dish? Like what does it do? Like I don't know.
So wine is not necessarily critical to make an amazing dish. Wine is critical to elevate the dish because you can make a sauce without wine, right? You can make a butter sauce with olive oil. You can make a butter sauce with, you can make an Alfredo sauce that doesn't have any wine in it. Same thing with marinara sauces. Same thing with typical sauces like barbecue, honey mustard. None of those are all made with wine. But if you want to elevate the experience and add a level of richness that comes to your food, and you'll understand the difference. Like for many of you that go to Applebee's and Chili's and things like that, those are great comfort food type restaurants. But when you go to an elevated experience like a Perry Steakhouse, like a True Lux, like a Michelin star restaurant, wine is just fermented grapes, right? So imagine taking a grape, crushing it, taking the juice, and you're transforming it into a aphrodisiac, right? Because of the alcohol content that comes up in it. And then you're reducing the sauce and you're adding it on top of a chicken dish, on top of a steak, or you're using it to baste, your lamb chops. It gives it that refined elegance that takes restaurants to that next level. that's one of the reasons why using wine is so significant, because it's a great palate pleaser, as I like to call it. And many chefs and the top chefs, and including myself, we use it to bring that elevated, refined richness to a dish. Plus, it's also part of the French Brigade system, which you'll learn more about in the culinary basics class when we talk about Escoffier and when he created the kitchen brigade system and learning how to create recipes and things of that nature. It's all part of a system, right? Because it thrives better in a system. So that's some of the reasons why you use wine. It really brings out the richness and elegance and flavor, kind of like using real butter versus using processed butter or using margarine. Same thing with using different olive oils versus corn oils or manufactured oils like canola oil. It brings a different zest and favor to your dish. So I hope I over answered that.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And you're going to learn a lot more about that in the culinary basics when I actually go through the history of food in that class. So, excellent. Any other questions? Roxy, that was a good question. Sometimes I get to talking about food and forget that, there's other people here that might want to talk. Excellent. Dr. Chastity, did I hit record? I'm going to be upset if I didn't. I did. Okay, cool. All right, next. So, restaurant and careers. So, some stats about restaurants and careers with front of the house managers, restaurant CEOs, things of that nature. 90% of restaurant managers, supervisors, and chefs started as entry level employees. That's one great thing about this industry. As a chef myself, I spent 15 years in the front of the house being a general manager, and I did learn to cook. Now, I chose to go back to culinary school to become a chef because I honestly was like, maybe there was something that I was missing. And I realized in my 15 years of experience, I didn't need to go to culinary school, but because I did is the reason why Disney gave me a job and asked me to move to Orlando. Right? I might not have done that if I didn't go to culinary school, but it's one of those careers that you can truly, and if you remember Professor Latanya talking about this, it is somewhere where you can start at the very bottom. I mean, literally be a dishwasher and move up to an executive chef position or a general manager position and beyond, because it's built a lot on merit, not necessarily time. A lot of jobs you get promoted because you've been there a long time. And with the restaurant industry, it's a combination of both. You don't necessarily have to be there a long time to actually show the initiative to build, grow, and become much more bigger than whatever your position is, especially going that extra mile, like the extra mile service we talked about with Chick-fil-A. Going that extra mile gets noticed and people want to move you up and promote you, right? 80% of restaurant owners started their career at entry level. Most people that own restaurants and go into entrepreneurship worked in restaurants. That's what I did. Working at Disney, working at Dr. Pepper and Aramark. That's how I branched off and started my own catering company. Ran my catering company for 10 years, and it turned into restaurant consulting because of the background that I had. And now I coach other entrepreneurs and CEOs on doing the same thing, the Kingdom way. And so it's progressively grown in it. So this is a great industry to get your feet wet and to get started in because it's going to teach you things that you're going to be able to take to every facet of not only your life, but your business life, professional life, and entrepreneurial life once you get into it. So 63% of adults have worked in the restaurant industry, making it the largest training ground for employees. Over 14 million people are employed in the restaurant industry. Actually, it's a lot more than that, but these are the numbers that they're showing stats of now, making it one of the largest private sector employers in the nation. The food service industry is larger than 90% of the world's economy. You know why? Anybody want to take a guess why the food service industry is so large and it's larger than 90% of the world's economy? Roxy, you put your hand up first. Why do you think? Say it again.
Because everyone eats.
Because everyone eats. It's the only, well, actually, technically, it's almost the only 100% used industry. Everybody eats something. Even the people that are homeless eat leftovers, or they go to a child kitchen, right? Or someone brings them food, right? You make it at home for yourself. You go out to eat. Everybody, your pets. Oh my God, the pet food industry, I think it's like a $2 or $5 billion industry now, where it didn't used to be like that. You bought a bag of, pedigree or Purina and you poured the dry dog food. Now dogs get meal prep food, right? Huge industry, huge industry. But that's why it makes up the world's economy, because everybody eats, right? And so the industry is expected to grow. I need to update that. 22.7% by the end of 2026. And we did reach that 1 trillion at the end of 2024. Those are the latest stats. They haven't put out the stats out for 2025 yet. But once they put those stats out, I'll have this in the next class and get to see it. So we're going to look at some stats per state. Okay. So I pulled up some states already, and I'm actually going to start with our home state, where the home office is for S.O.A.R, H&T, and that is New Jersey. So in New Jersey, everybody can see that this is stats based from the National Restaurant Association that keeps up with all those things that I am a member, proud member, and enjoy. So this is the industry at the glass. This is the impact of restaurants just in New Jersey. For every dollar spent in a New Jersey restaurant, $1.80 goes right back to the state economy. So just imagine there are 20,553 restaurants, and all of them contribute $1.80 for every dollar that's spent in a restaurant. That's what goes back to your state economy. It's over $40 billion worth of restaurants and food services. 366,000 plus restaurant food service jobs. $5 billion in taxes paid by restaurants. $5 billion. It's the third largest private investor in New Jersey. Second largest employer in the world. It is the most diverse industry in the world. And 9 out of 10 restaurants are small businesses. You see how this ties into entrepreneurship? Think about it. I just told you there are 20,000 plus restaurants in the state of New Jersey, from fast food to fine dining. 9 out of 10 are small businesses. That means there was somebody, 9 people, 9 entrepreneurs wanted to step out there and create something unique for their neighborhood and their thing. That is 90%. So out of 20,000 restaurants, 9 out of 10 are small businesses. Entrepreneurship is real. And that's just in New Jersey. Okay. And then these are some of your representatives. So you ever need to reach out and want to talk to them about different things, good old Cory Booker and Andy Kim. So let's look at another state. Anybody in here from New York? Any New Yorkers on here? No New Yorkers? That's all right. We're going to look at New York anyway, because it's your neighbor. Okay. New York has 50,000 restaurant locations, $98 billion worth of food service, 856,000 plus. That's almost 1 million people that are employed in the restaurant industry. Almost 1 million people. It gives $1.71 for every dollar spent. Think about that. Every time somebody spends at a restaurant, $1.71 goes back to the state economy. And then I got to show you Texas, because Texas is the biggest one of all the states. Okay. It is the second largest employer in the state, the food service industry. The second largest. If you know anything about Texas, Texas is huge. Y'all saw how many was in New York, right? Oh, I just counted. New York had like 25,000. This has 50,000 restaurant locations. Wait a minute. I think that's New York again. I think I might have closed out. I think I did close out Texas. Hold tight. So Texas almost gives $2 for every dollar that is given. 58,000 restaurants. 1.4 million people are employed in the restaurant industry. Food in Texas is like football in Texas. It rules. It is the largest employer in the state of Texas. There's no other employer or industry that employs more people than the restaurant industry. So when I say it's not going anywhere. It's going to be here for a while. Even if they throw in AI and robots start cooking the food, it's still not going anywhere. Wonderful industry to hop into. Anybody have any questions so far? I just wanted to give you guys some stats and see how big this is, which is one of the reasons why S.O.A.R is teaching hospitality and travel, because it's a slept-on industry that has the majority of the people that's employed in every state. You see, it was the second largest in New York, the second largest in New Jersey, and the first largest in Texas, but it's usually the one that is usually underserved. It's usually the one that gets, the minimal amount of wages. It's the one that gets less glory than other industries, especially when you start talking about tech and the automobile industry and construction. But it is the lifeblood and backing of just about every state. Every state is huge. All right, so these are some of the careers that you can get into that is beyond the restaurant. Okay, some of the things like food science. I had a student of mine by the name of Michaela that was on my championship team that came in that won state last year, came in sixth place 2 years ago. No, last year. It was 2 years ago we came in fourth. Last year we came in sixth place in the country. And she decided she wanted to go into food science as opposed to becoming a chef. She's currently, in some bio classes to help her learn more about food science, how it works, and how to create something that's going to really help the body naturally, right? So these are just some of the things you can do outside of cooking professionally or opening a restaurant. You can go become a food critic. Food critics get paid a lot. Anybody ever heard of Keith Lee? Anybody ever heard of Keith Lee?
Yeah.
The food critic. So Keith Lee built his entire brand on critiquing food, and so now he is for the most part a celebrity food critic, and all he does is sit in his car and eat and give reviews, but he gives great reviews, right? But he also blesses neighborhoods. He goes in and donates money to some of these people for struggling small business owners, because as you can see, 9 out of 10 of these restaurants you go to are run by small business. So, but you also be culinary research and development. That's what you call an R&D kitchen. Facilities and engineering, event management, accounting, financial management. You could be a food author, human resources. There are so many things in this industry that you can branch off into besides just getting into food. See, for entrepreneurs, there's a whole nother thing you can do as well. You got full service restaurants, quick service restaurants, um, food trucks, bakery, meal prep, catering business is what I went into. You can do a ghost kitchen. Now, ghost kitchens is new. Does anybody want to take a guess at what a ghost kitchen might be? When you think of ghost kitchen, what do you think that means? Anybody? I'm gonna have to call on somebody if there's no guesses.
It kind of
Is it
sounds
like
Go ahead.
um isn't it like a kitchen where like there's people, but when they present the food, it's kind of just it looks like nobody's there, or no?
You know what? That's actually a great guess. That's not the answer, but that's a great guess because that could possibly be a concept. And I know you didn't think about this, and you may not even be going into food. But as an entrepreneur, you could partner with the chef, maybe come up with that idea, start a new trend. I'm just saying, this is on a recorded line. If you ever want to go back and use that Jason for a chef, that might be interested, because we do something that's called blind dinners. So you get blindfolded and you can only figure out the food with your sensories. So you either got to use your hands, your smell, your touch, and taste, but you don't get to see the food. You only get to pick and let them know what your allergies are. So yeah, great concept. Somebody else chimed in. Who else wants to take a guess? What do you think a ghost kitchen is?
I thought, well, given the name, it kind of sounds like probably like a high luxury kitchen, but like it's only used for very specific events.
You know what? That is pretty close. Anybody else? Before I say
Is it?
anything?
Oh,
Oh,
Sorry.
I'm loving it. Who was
Um,
that? I think it was. Hey, Devin.
isn't it like a kitchen that like basically there's like two restaurants running out of it? Like one is like on the thing. Like I remember like I think back when like Mr. Beast Burger came out or something, it was like a ghost kitchen because they were running out of like another restaurant. And so it didn't like actually say like the brand name, but you can still get food from there.
You know what? You guys are getting closer. Any other? Because all those fall into the ghost kitchen category.
is it like
Any other
what they use
guesses?
for like shows? Like what's his name? Gordon Ramsay or something, like the shows? Like
You know
something
what?
famous or so?
All of you guys are right. A ghost kitchen has multiple uses. Most of the time, it's a shared use kitchen that is used by someone that doesn't necessarily do it full time or have a restaurant, or they want to do a pop up. Or, like me, when I first started my ghost kitchen, I rented it and I shared it with five, six other caterers in that particular kitchen. But nobody knows that we're in there, right? We don't have our names on the outside or anything like that. We just produce the food out of there and deliver it to people. But it's multiple people using it, right? So everything that you guys said is right. It is used to film shows. My cooking show called Flavor on the Budget is filmed in a ghost kitchen, right? Same thing for caterers, high end things like weddings, right? Well, most places would use a ghost kitchen unless they already have their own catering kitchen. Does that make sense? So believe it or not, all you guys got a little bit of it, but the overall scheme of it is a giant kitchen that is rented out to people to use, and not necessarily be their permanent residence, but use it for one-off events, pop-up events, or it could be their home for it. So all you guys are right. I appreciate you guys, but those are some of the things you can do in the entrepreneurship portion of it. Now, when it comes to professionalism, now this is something that's important, and this is what I call the A's. On the A's, right? These 6 A's are critically important, whether you want a professional career in the hospitality industry or you want to become an entrepreneur, right? These are all the expectations that you will need, and you will actually need this beyond um, the hospitality industry, whatever industry you go to, right? Your attire, you know, dress appropriately for what it is that you're doing. For me, it's a chef coat. Sometimes it's a t-shirt and a ball cap. Sometimes it's an apron. Sometimes I got to put on a full suit, right? It depends on the environment and where you are going. So pay attention to that. If you're applying for a job and you have your resume, because you learn more about resume writing in the advanced portion of business entrepreneurship. Chefs still have resumes. Me as an entrepreneur, I still have a resume when people ask for my bio, right? I still use a resume as an entrepreneur. So if people ask for my bio or my background, or they want to know more about me, I already have a resume made that has, the last few things that I've done, right? Your resume is like an attire. You want to dress it up and you want to dress the part for what it is that you're looking for, right? And once you get in that position, you got to do the same thing. Dress appropriately for the success that you want. Got to have the right mental attitude. And your actions are going to speak louder than your words. What you do is going to speak more volumes. It's kind of like one of the reasons why, we push so hard for you guys to be on camera, because we can see what you do. We can tell when people aren't paying attention, right? We can tell when people are looking at other things or looking at their phone or doing their homework. We've been doing this for a long time, right? But if you have a focused attitude, so you're going to see the success that you want, and your actions are going to back that up. Adaptability in any industry, you're going to have to be able to adapt. You're going to have to be able to pivot. You're going to have to be able to change and go different ways. Okay. Awareness and alignment, right? So the reason I say alignment is because when I coach people or I teach youth about alignment, when it comes to your purpose, when you're going into the career that you want to go into, whether you're, like I said, whether you go get a job or you're going to become an entrepreneur, make sure it's in alignment for what it is that you want to do, right? Make sure that you're taking the steps that are going to catapult you to the next step or the next level in what it is you want to do. If you want to be a chef, you need to go work in a restaurant, right? If you want to go to culinary school, go to culinary school. I think it's great. It's going to be a lot of opportunities, but you also need to be in a restaurant and learn how to cook. We call it a stage, right? You got to go stage in a restaurant, cook behind somebody, right? Because it's going to align with the fact that you want to be a chef, right? If you want to go into business management, right? You want to take an internship that deals with management, right? You want to open up a car wash, go get a job at a car wash, right? Have that alignment. And another thing that I teach is if you're a person that's not a morning person, right? Don't be stuck in the idea that you have to take a morning job, right? If you know you don't like to get up in the morning, work second shift, work third shift, right? Create a business that thrives in the middle of the day or the end of the day, right? You don't necessarily have to, conform to a 9 to 5 if that's not me. Me, I'm a morning person. I'm up at 4:30 every morning. I'm at the gym by 5:30 every morning, right? My business starts 7 a.m., 8 a.m. because I am a morning person. But I have two daughters that like to sleep until noon. And I told them, I said, don't try to do what I do. Go find you a job that starts at 3 o'clock. And they do. I have one daughter that works overnight. She don't like to get up at all. But she loves working from 10:30 at night to 6:30 in the morning. It's the craziest thing. But it works for her, right? That's what I'm talking about with alignment. What works for you. Roxy, go ahead.
It's not like a, it's kind of like more of like a, what did you do if you're in this situation? But have you ever been in a situation where like you were pursuing your passion, but the environment just wasn't good? Like, how do you put aside the opportunity versus the environment? And how do you make that decision? Like, is this something I want to continue pursuing if this is what I have to do it? Because I feel like that's happened like a lot to me, like learning whenever something is or isn't for you. But if it's a great opportunity, but like the people or the environment or just like its system, like it's just not there.
So because I know you're a teenager and you live there with your parents, you can't just up and move. Because most people that I talk to, are adults, and I say, well, if you want to change your environment, you have to change your environment, right? That means you have to maybe physically get up and go somewhere else, right? But I know you're a teenager. You're still living at home. You're still working through some things. What I would say to start with um, your alignment and growing is environment does play a huge role in it. One thing you want to do is you want to find a local mentor that can help you, and then you want to find 5 friends that are aligned with the vision and what you want to pursue, and spend more time with those 5 friends, right? Because most of us are the sum of the 5 friends we hang around the most. And as you get older, you'll see that. You'll see how the personalities are similar. You'll see how the income levels are similar. You'll see how the families are similar. If you're somebody that hangs around, married people, you're probably gonna have a bunch of married friends. If they have kids, you're gonna have kids. When I think about the board members, for S.O.A.R, all of us have children, all of us are married. Well, let me think. Yes, all of us are married, right? And we all hang around each other and we all feed off each other, even though we live in different states. So the best way to change your environment is to change your environment, right? You can't do much about the home living situation, but once you step out of that home, the 5 people that you hang around is going to be the biggest influence on how you're going to accomplish your dream, right? How you're going to accomplish what it is that you do. And what's great about hindrances in environment, because for me in my story, when I was a troubled youth when I was in my teens, and I spent a year in juvenile detention, right, for running the streets, hanging around with the wrong crowd. And when I got out, my mentor, who actually sparked Rosie to create this because he mentored her as well, he asked me, he said, "Do you, are you a product of your?" He asked me if I was a product of my environment, or do I want to overcome my environment. I believe that's the phrasing. It's been, forgive me, it's been like 40 years now. But and what he did was is I still lived in the same environment. I still lived in the same, lower class neighborhood. I still lived in a low income area. I still went to a low income school. But what he did was he put me around other people that had the same vision of being better, and then he imparted being better. And that's how I ended up going on my first internship at 15 years old, going to Barbados, right? I'm 15 years old and grew up in the hood, and it was like, I really ain't been outside my city except for to go to Atlanta. That was about it. And here I am. I have a passport at 15 and I'm traveling international, where some adults have never even left the four corners or the four walls of their city. So if you're having trouble with your environment, you've got to change the people that are around you to help cultivate that environment, and find a mentor that is willing to give you that guidance. And there's some ladies on the phone that can help you with that as well. And S.O.A.R is great at that. We have a huge network of that. So if your environment is a problem, help. Hey, Rosie, I know you're listening to this. Let's connect her with Savan and help to expand this circle.
Savan is in my school. I actually talk to her a lot.
Yeah, go on and lean on her. Tell her Chef Andre sent you. And tell her Chef Andre said he wants you to connect with me and anybody else that want to be connected, if you want to be able to change that environment and really go strive for what you want. Cool? That's a great question, Roxy.
I'm sorry. I kind of want to rephrase my question. I was talking
Sure.
specifically when it comes to like jobs and internships, not my home environment. Like when you're given an opportunity, but like it's what you're being offered and you go into and you really, because I've been like offered jobs, and throughout the process of it, I'm like, this is such a toxic setting and I'm not even actually working here yet. Like,
so that goes
like
back to alignment. If it's toxic and it's not heading towards your dreams and goals, you don't have to bear it. Toxicity is not a place to grow and thrive. If that environment is bad, I mean, I'm not the one to tell people to quit, because there's always a lesson, right? But at the same time, if it's going to destroy your peace and destroy your alignment, then you don't need to be there. That's a toxic environment, And if you possibly need to find people that work in a toxic environment that you could be around that can help change the environment, And also, I also believe, the great creator, sometimes he puts us in toxic environments so that we can break the toxicity. But that's something that you would have to take, with your faith. Does it align with the purpose and vision that you have, and the purpose and vision that has been given and ordained to you to successfully complete? That's why I say, as an entrepreneur in a career, does it align with you and your principles? And if you want to change the environment, again, change the environment. Either you could be the spark to make it non-toxic, or sometimes you just got to leave toxicity. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you so much.
Excellent. You're so welcome. Any other questions? Excellent. 5 A's: attire, attitude, actions, adaptability, awareness, and alignment. Skills: communication and teamwork. As an entrepreneur, build a team. I teach a philosophy about building teams. The bigger the team, the bigger the dream, right? If you have great communication and teamwork, you can build anything you need, from a fantastic career to a multi-billion-dollar business. You got to be willing to learn. Technology is key these days. Math will always be a necessity, even if you have calculators and you have Google and you can just say, hey Siri, what is 3,000 times 3,000 times infinity? And they'll give you a number. You still need it. You need to be a problem solver and be able to analyze. Okay? Now, food specific, knife and other equipment skills. Know how to use a blender, know how to use a mixer and a knife. Food safety knowledge. These are things that are specific to the food industry. Product knowledge, self-motivation, time management. Time management is the biggest one. If you can handle time management, if you can be able to balance out um, your day and be structured, it doesn't matter what career or business you get into. You'll be able to master just about anything if you can manage your time. So let's see, where are we now? We're almost done. All right, how can you start your career? Here's some of the things you can do. Go search for a job. Go work for a mom and pop. Go work for a big company, right? You're in a day and age where you just saw the stats that I showed you. I mean, there's 58,000 restaurants in New Jersey alone, and that's just restaurants. We're not talking about cafes. We're not even talking about places like, that sell beverages. We're just talking about regular restaurants, right? Go look for it. Find out what it is that aligns with the vision for your success, even if it's not in the food industry. Apply. Get an interview. Follow up. If you want to be an entrepreneur, I would say, because I did this, you go work for a mom and pop shop and you see how they run their business. And you can learn how either to do it right or to do it wrong. But either way, you're going to have a great learning experience. And it doesn't matter what the business. I say doing it in restaurants because it's, like I said, it's the biggest training ground on the planet. Most people's first jobs was in some kind of restaurant. But pick your career. Look for it, apply for it, interview for it, follow up, see if you got it. Find a mom and pop if you want to get in entrepreneurship and learn from there. And last but not least, education when it comes to restaurants. You have different opportunities. This is something that's great because trade schools didn't really become extremely popular until I got much older. When I was in college, and Rosa can attest to this, and so can C. Morgan and Tiana, going to trade school was kind of frowned upon. They wanted you to go and get a degree, get you a bachelor's degree, get you a master's degree. Getting an associate's degree was like going to community college. Community college used to be frowned upon, right? But you got the same education. And so now with trade schools, you now have an opportunity to cut your learning curve in half. Like when I went back to culinary school, I only had to go 18 months to, get my associate's degree in culinary arts, right? As opposed to doing a whole 4-year degree to get a bachelor's in culinary science, right? And so there's different options. And one thing that I will tell you about school, there's usually about $1.5 billion worth of scholarship money in the U.S. that's left on the table that's unclaimed because students won't even apply for it. So if anybody tells you you have to pay out of pocket to go to school, there's $1.5 billion that sits every single year, goes unclaimed for you to go to school. So if you want to go to school, and you hear it from me and it's on a recording, research, do the papers, go for free. Do not get into debt. And you should be learning that in one of the baking classes. You don't want to add any debt, taking out student loans, to pay for your schooling because there's a lot of free money out there for you to do. And so these are some of the questions that you want to ask when you go into the program. Does the school offer a program that meets your needs? Again, going back to alignment, what's the certification and degree, reputation of the program, what's the accreditation, GPA that's required, entrance exams. These are some of the things that you want to start looking at when you decide if you're going to college or going to a trade school. Does it align with the vision and the success that you want to do? That is critically important for you. And with that being said, I'm gonna leave this up for a little bit if anybody is writing down these questions. And it is not in Google Classroom, but I'll add it to Google Classroom so you can go back because these are questions that you need to ask whether you're going to college, going to a trade school, or even if you decide that you're going to get out there and go into the workforce. You know, these are some critical questions and stuff that you need to ask. Cool. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So are there any questions, comments, or concerns? Uh-oh, I see something in the chat. Oh, type. Let me see. What is this in the chat? Oh, she's telling me her laptop died. All right. Come on, Pete, if you have any questions. Yes, just saying.
For the thing on Tuesday, are you gonna post it in Classroom or?
It is in the Google Classroom. So that is a great question. Let me pull it up. So I do not think I have my Google Classroom up. Hold on one second. Because I did publish it. Google Classroom. Where did it go? Ah, signed into the wrong account. Great. All right, so you go into Google Classroom and go under Classroom. And there should be Dr. Kennedy, can you pull yours up real quick? I think I logged into
Let me go ahead and try.
Google Classroom as a student. And I did not mean to.
All right. All right, let me share my screen.
So when you go into the virtual hospitality and travel youth under culinary basics, do me a favor, Dr. Kennedy, click the three, what is that, the hamburger icon over here on the side? Hit edit real quick. Let's see, scroll down, make sure it's there. Excellent, hit post. All right, so everybody go in your Google Classroom and double check that you can go on the culinary basics and see that.
It's there.
It's there? Excellent. Scroll down again. Dr. Kennedy, scroll down more on the screen. Go to baking basics.
Yes.
We're going to do the same thing, even though I did this last week. Click on the second basic, baking basics. There we go. Then go up there to, hit edit, hit post. We literally did this last week. Don't know why
Yes,
it's
it
not there,
is.
but hey.
Okay. And so that should be there too now
Yep.
to view.
Yep. They should be able to view.
Okay.
Hey, Chef Andre.
Yes,
So on Tuesday we're doing culinary basics, and then on Thursday we're gonna be doing baking basics.
that is correct.
Okay, thank you.
You are welcome. All right. So thank you guys. Now, we got that taken care of. Everybody has the list. You got like 4 days to get these ingredients. Okay. 4 days. I don't want anybody coming to class talking about they don't have it. You got it in plenty of time. All right. So now we're going to go hit the chat. Mitzi meter is up. Please click on it. Going to see how well I did as an instructor for restaurant operations.
All right.
Got 2 players.
Camera.
Got a robot and the thinker. Got a burger and a lollipop. Got a frog this time. Umbrella, Ella, a watermelon. Delivery truck. Paperclip has returned. Rose. The lion. I think the next person to join should be a lamb.
Oh, detective.
Detective.
Or
You know
right.
what? I'm going to go with the watermelon for the win this time. I don't know who the watermelon is, but I'm going for the watermelon for the win.
All right, we all here?
Yes.
All right, let's get started.
All right, question 1. Which of the following is not a typical responsibility of a restaurant manager? Hiring and training staff, creating the menu, overseeing daily operations, managing the restaurant budget. Restaurant manager.
Oh, we're spread
Creating
out.
the menu. That's what the chef does. Oh, yeah, this is going to be it. I like it. I like it when it starts off with a challenge.
Uh-huh.
Question number 2. What is the primary role of a sommelier in a restaurant? To cook the food, to greet and seat the guests, to manage wine cellar and recommend wine pairings, to clean and maintain the dining area.
Sommelier. Gotta learn how to say that. Everyone has
And a
voted.
sommelier.
Sommelier. Oh, okay.
Manage the wine cellar. We talked I spent 15 minutes on wine. No, I'm just kidding. Excellent job. Question number 3. What is the importance of food cost percentage in the restaurant operations? I touched on that briefly. Helps determine the profitability of the menu. It's irrelevant. It applies to high-end restaurants, solely determined by the cost of ingredients. What is the importance
Everyone has
of your food
voted.
costs?
Oh,
Number
all right.
1, it helps to determine the profitability of menu items.
All right. This
They get in
session is a
business
bit
to make money.
tricky.
Oh, yeah. Question number 4. Or maybe I'm just not a great teacher. Who knows?
No, never that.
What is the significance of customer feedback in restaurants? Okay. Avoid negative online reviews, justify price increases, identify areas of improvement.
Oh, this was a quick one. We knew
Yeah.
this one.
If y'all didn't get this one after the last 3 classes, I was just going to stop the Mitchell meter and we was not going to keep going. Question 5. What is the importance of proper sanitation and hygiene in a restaurant? You guys go to restaurants. Prevent the spread of foodborne illness, to maintain and clean, comply with local, all of the above. Everyone has voted?
Oh, it's spread
All
out.
of the above. So you guys can pick the other answers aren't necessarily wrong. It's just all of those are needed. Proper sanitation and hygiene. Question 6. What are some of the common challenges faced by the restaurant industry? High employee turnover, lack of customer interest, excessive government regulation. I don't know why I put that in there. Difficulty finding skilled labor. I talked about this briefly too when we were talking about jobs. Good job.
12 for
Y'all were
12.
paying attention.
Very nice. Number
Question
7.
7. What is the importance of teamwork in a restaurant setting? Ensure efficiency and smooth operations, minimize interaction, reduce labor, avoid conflict among staff. Everybody better it said number 1. Thank you guys. Thank you.
Very nice.
Question 8. How can you improve restaurant operations? Through online ordering platforms, point of sale systems, limiting menu options. I think you guys have seen that question before. Hospitality and travel. I'm just saying.
Nice job. 12 for 12.
Question number 9. What is the importance of menu engineering in restaurant operations? To analyze menu item profitability, to design visually appealing menus, limit number of menu items to ensure all menu items are equally profitable. Let's see. This is going to be all over the place. You guys are listening. This is usually the question that's all over the place because I purposely said engineering so it seemed like it's something totally different. Menu design. You guys are listening.
Awesome.
Last question. Question 10. What are some career paths in the restaurant industry beyond serving and cooking? There are limited career paths: restaurant management, food and beverage. All careers in the restaurant industry involve career advancement is not possible in the restaurant industry.
Waiting on one.
Now,
Okay,
this
here
is
we
a tricky
go.
one.
Ooh.
Restaurant management, food and beverage director, sommelier. That should have been your clear. That should have been a clear indicator. Or a culinary instructor, like I also did. Excellent. Now I picked watermelon to be first place.
Let's see.
Let's see. Let's see what's going to happen. The points are in.
Hey.
Ring. The thinking. The thinking smiley face. All right, Raymond. Okay. Who's the watermelon? Jaylee? That's all right, Jaylee. You did great. You did great. I should have picked the thinking man.
Right.
Excellent. Thank you guys
Congratulations.
so much. Thank
Nice
you guys
job,
so much.
everyone.
Yep.
We
Now all
just
that is
have
left is to hit this evaluation. And Dr. Kennedy, would you want to talk a little bit again about LOL? Because we only have 2 classes left. So
absolutely. I went ahead and I dropped the link to that evaluation in the chat. So while you guys are completing that, I just want to put it out there again. Please take advantage of our Learning Out Loud opportunity. I think it's a great opportunity for you guys to get in that practice as far as how to just design, how to practice when it comes to your end of course projects. Just give it a try. Give it a try. I really, really want to encourage you to step outside your comfort zone, and go ahead and give it a try because eventually everyone will have to do it. So I want you guys to feel as comfortable as possible. I want you to go ahead and get that experience out the way so you can come to us if you have any questions, if you want us to review it and give you some recommendations. This is the time to do it. We are winding down, and before you know it, your assignment will be here. And I just want the absolute best for you guys. So go ahead and please, you can do it for tonight's course, the session that you had with Professor Rosie. Go ahead and just give it a try, y'all. I'm trying to get y'all on it. I'm trying to encourage you guys to go ahead and do it. because I feel like it will be extremely helpful for you and the success of your final project. Any questions? Does anyone have any questions? Maybe that's why you guys are not testing the waters with our learning out loud assignment. Okay. All right. Well, as you finish, Chef Dre, if you don't have anything else,
No, everybody knows about the EOC. You have your ingredients listed,
yes,
and you should be prepared for next week. We got two classes left, y'all. Two classes, and
that's
then we
it.
got the EOC practice, and then the EOC.
Anyone have any questions about their topics? Anyone thinking about which assignment they're going to do, or any questions about how to complete either assignment? All right, I'm looking forward to it then. I'm looking forward to your end of course projects. You guys got it. You're good to go. All right, as you complete your evaluation, you are free to hop off. We will see you again the next one with all your ingredients that you need for that
All your
class. Yes,
ingredients.
you can absolutely hop off if you have completed your evaluation. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great evening. See you on Thursday. Oh, today is Thursday. Look at me. See you on
See you
Tuesday.
on Tuesday.